Tonight, once again, the octagon beckons. The UFC is back. The speed, the power, the passion, the pain. The clash of the titans. The only no-holds-barred martial arts tournament in the world where striker meets grappler in what has become the white-knuckle event in true bare-knuckle competition. Tonight, 14 of the toughest fighters ever assembled will meet in the octagon, including UFC veterans Oleg Taktarov, the Russian World Sambo champion, and Canadian super heavyweight wrestler David Beneteau. Plus, the clash of the titans. Reigning Ultimate Fighting champion Dan Severn takes on World Shoot Fighting champion and UFC veteran Ken Shamrock in an awesome super fight. Both men, superb grapplers. Both men in peak physical condition. Both men, masters of the octagon. The matchups have been drawn. The clash of the titans. The stage is set. The fighters ready. Let's get it on. We're in the heart of the Rocky Mountains, Casper, Wyoming, on the banks of the mighty Platte River. The city was established in 1888 and named after this man, Lieutenant Casper Collins, who died valiantly protecting an American fort from Native Americans. And we welcome you live to the Casper Event Center, a gorgeous arena in Wyoming's second largest city. And tonight, the octagon beckons once again as we present the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Hello again, everyone. I'm Bruce Beck. Welcome to UFC 6, the only real martial arts competition in the world. And tonight, by far, the deepest and the heaviest group ever assembled in a UFC. And you'll see traditional disciplines tonight, such as Taekwondo and Jiu-Jitsu, but also lesser-known styles, such as pit fighting and trap fighting. Two separate events tonight. We've got the UFC main draw, and we have a sensational super fight between Dan Severn and Ken Shamrock. Now let me share with you something from the start. This is not a sparring match. This is not an exhibition. This is brutal hand-to-hand combat. Right now, let's go to another member of our broadcast team, an Olympic gold medalist, 1984, Los Angeles, Greco-Roman Wrestling, super heavyweight division, Jeff Blatnick.
I've just locked down one of the two deadbolts on the doors that the fighters will come into the octagon, the area where our fighters will do combat. It measures 32 feet across. It is surrounded by a 5-foot-high, heavily reinforced, heavily padded chain-link fence. The surface thinly padded with its canvas skin that is tightly pulled over the top. Footing is firm and fast. Lots of room to maneuver, no place to hide. The fighters walk in alone, they fight alone, and hopefully walk out on their own. Bruce?
Thank you very much, Jeff, and joining us once again, Pro Football Hall of Famer Jim Brown. And Jim, you're looking forward to it?
Hey, I'm looking forward to it. I'm pumped. I'm in Wyoming. I've never been in a beautiful country like this. The fighters are ready. There's a lot of animosity going on. I want to see what's going to happen.
Now, in football, you know your opponent, but in the UFC, you only know your first.
Football is a team sport. This is man-to-man, and man-to-man, it is my preparation. If I'm bad enough, if I prepare myself, I'm going to win.
How tough is it mentally to win this event?
Well, if everything is equal, each man has all of the technique, the conditioning, it's the mental attitude that's going to win all the time.
Is it size or is it substance?
Size is irrelevant. It is substance. Only when everything is equal will size come into it. But give me substance, which means attitude and technique, and I'll get that every day.
All right, let's take a look at the grid for the main UFC draw. A couple of sensational early round matches. It begins with two guys who together weigh 665 pounds. Yes, a lot of beef, and they dislike each other vehemently. Tank Abbott, John Matua. Then striker Cal Worsham takes on 6'8", 300-pound Paul the Polar Bear Varlins. The Ecuadorian entry, Rudyard Moncayo, squares off against UFC 2 finalist Pat Smith. And then in what could be the most interesting match of the opening round, Oleg Taktarov, the world Sambo champion, meets UFC 5 runner-up Dave Beneteau. And later tonight, the UFC's second ever super fight unfolds. The Beast, Dan Severn, the UFC champion, 1994 AAU senior and Masters Greco-Roman and Sambo champion, meets Ken Shamrock, the Japanese Pancrase Association Shoot Fighting Champion. So that is a look at what is ahead tonight here for UFC 6. Well, a crowd getting ready here in Casper, Wyoming, the heart of the Rocky Mountains, the shopping and entertainment and media center for all of Wyoming. By the way, elevation tonight, 5140, 5,140 feet above sea level. Now to highlights of earlier action, the alternate bout for UFC 6, and the opener featured Joel Sutton against Jack McLaughlin. And Jim, in this one, Joel Sutton was in a bit of trouble early.
Yes, he was, but he took his time, used his technique as much as he has, and came out victorious.
So it was Sutton on the bottom early on, but then Joel Sutton turned things around. A couple of headbutts late were the key blows as he went on to the victory. Joel Sutton with the Kung Fu style, winning at 158 when Jack McLaughlin tapped out. Sutton from Buffalo, New York. He was supposed to be in UFC 5, but sidelined the last minute with an injury. He comes back UFC 6 with a vengeance. Now, in our second earlier alternate bout, Anthony Macias against He-Man Gibson. That's Macias on the bottom right now, and he made a beautiful move, Jim, and reversed his opponent.
Yes, he took advantage of leverage. When that punch was thrown, he was able to make that move. He's a great grappler and a kid with a lot of heart. And he used some techniques. He used a headbutt, you watch that, and he's punching. So he came back not only as a grappler, he learned some things.
So Anthony Macias from Dallas, Texas, representing the style of Muay Thai, wins at 306 when He-Man Gibson taps out. Remember, alternates can advance into the UFC main draw. We even had a champion, Steve Jenham, in UFC 3, who came off the bench to win the championship. So here's a look at what has unfolded. Because of injuries to Sutton and McLaughlin, Guy Mesger, who has been in the UFC before, will be our second alternate tonight. And Anthony Macias will be our first alternate following his victory and the fact that he's still in good condition, his win over He-Man Gibson. Our referee tonight is Big John McCarthy, Orange, California, member of the LAPD, 10 years in the martial arts, jiu-jitsu competitor. This is his fourth UFC. Our doctor, Richard Istrigo, Howard Beach, New York, Advisory Council of the WBC, panel physician for the New York State Athletic Commission, medical director of the New York Golden Gloves. Cutman Leon Tabbs, his fifth UFC, 30 years in the fight game as a trainer, manager, and cutman, hails from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, has worked with the likes of Bone Crusher Smith, Jerry the Bull Martin, and Buster Drayton. And the commissioner of the IFC, the International Fighting Council, the Black Dragon, Ron Van Cleef, a native of Brooklyn, New York, 10th degree black belt in Chinese Goju Karate. He is a 9-time U.S. karate champion and a 2-time point karate champion. Now we go to the laws of the octagon. No biting, no eye gouging. A fighter doing either is disqualified. The ref has the authority to restart the bout. This is a new rule if there is a lack of action, essentially a stalemate where neither fighter can improve his position. There are no rounds, but a 20-minute time limit in the quarters and semis of the main UFC draw, a 30-minute time limit in the finals and the super fight. There is a 5-minute overtime in the finals and the super fight. Now here are the ways to win a fight. Number 1, by knockout, then by submission, tapping the mat with your hand or foot. If the corner throws in a towel, or if the referee stops the contest because a fighter cannot intelligently defend himself. It may be at the advice of the ringside physician. Also, you can win by disqualification. So we have taken care of some of the house cleaning, and we are set to go. Our quarterfinals, some interesting matchups, and this one, no doubt about it, everyone buzzing here in Casper. These two guys do not like each other. Tank Abbott, John Matua. Right now, let's meet the Tank. At 6 feet tall and 280 pounds, D.L. Abbott will live up to his name in the octagon. They call him the Tank.
My name's Tank Abbott. I'm going to be the most athletic person that's ever stepped into the octagon. That, coupled with my experience, will definitely make me the UFC 6 champ.
And here comes the Tank from Huntington Beach, California. American heavyweight pit fighting champion, 7-0 in bare knuckle pit fights. Pit fighting is similar to what you see in the UFC. Not a definable style, just what works in a fight. The underground style in Orange County.
Well, he's got some gloves on. I'm wondering if that's due to the fact that a lot of strikers have broken hands in this competition upon hitting their opponents in the head.
Pit fighting is the name of his discipline.
He likes to strike. He has some good background in boxing. He claims he could be a professional. He's done some wrestling in his day. He likes to take those strikes and hit at the head. And of course, he doesn't want to go to the ground, though he claims he can be competent on the ground. He's more of a stand-up fighter.
A 1993 graduate of the University of California at Long Beach. Right now, it's time to meet his opponent. At 6'2" and 400 pounds, John Matua is the biggest competitor in the UFC tonight. Can anyone stop this man?
I'm training under Kaja Escuella from San Pedro, California. I have respect for all the fighters against me, but I will be testing the ancient Hawaiian art of bone breaking against their styles.
His discipline is called Ku'i'alua, a freestyle system, everything that works. No forms, no katas, just fighting. 10-0 in bare knuckle matches. John Matua and Jim, we looked at him yesterday, we talked to him, 400 pounds, but I don't see much fat.
The point of this young man is that he is supposed to be quick and athletic. So the 400 pounds, if he is quick and athletic, will be an asset to him, especially if he has some of the techniques that we just saw him exhibit.
He is a distant cousin of Akebono, the reigning world champion sumo wrestler. There's a look at Tank Abbott, 30 years of age. John Matua, 29 years of age. One of our ring card girls here in Casper, Wyoming. Our ring announcer, the voice of the fights. Let's go to the golden voice of Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, SEG Sports Corporation welcomes you to the Casper Event Center here in Casper, Wyoming, where tonight it is the Ultimate Fighting Championship 6. 8 of the world's toughest fighters will walk into this octagon tonight, and at the end of the evening, only one shall emerge victorious. Plus, later this evening, the Clash of the Titans, the super fight, the ultimate super fight featuring UFC 5 champion Dan Severn versus world shoot fighting champion Ken Shamrock. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, there are no weight classes, there are no rounds, there are no time limits, and ladies and gentlemen, there are no rules. Let's get things started with the first of our quarter-final matches. Presenting first, the first pit fighter to compete in the octagon with a bare-knuckle record of 7-0. He's 30 years old, 6 feet tall, and weighs 265 pounds. Fighting out of Huntington Beach, California. No wonder they call him the Tank, ladies and gentlemen. He is David Tank Abbott. And his opponent, on the opposite side of the octagon, a practitioner of Ku'i'alua, the brutal Hawaiian art of bone breaking. This fighter is 29 years old and stands 6 feet 2 and weighs 400 pounds. He's 10-0 in bare knuckle matches. Ladies and gentlemen, from San Pedro, California, he is John Matua. The referee in charge is Big
Here's a
John
look at the tail of the
McCarthy.
tape. Abbott 280 or 265, Matua 400. Pretty close in age, Matua 2 inches taller. We are set to go our first quarterfinal match of UFC 6. And this one had everyone buzzing. John McCarthy signals the fighters.
You ready? Well, let's get it on.
Here we go. Tank Abbott and Matua. Tank quickly takes Matua to the ground. Matua back up. Tank lands a right hand. Matua back to his feet.
Matua's taking some vicious shots to the head.
Tank knocks
that's
Matua
it.
down. And that is all. He hit the ground very hard. Oh, Lord. Oh, my. His legs are shaking.
Come on in here. You're okay, John. It's okay. You're okay. You're all right, John. You're all right, John.
Oh, my. John Matua hit the ground. His head hit the ground very hard. As you look at the replay, our thoughts are with John Matua right now. Dr. Richard Istergo, Leon Tabbs are in the ring. There are 2 emergency units on the premises. There's Tank Abbott. Matua lying on the canvas being attended to by Leon Tabbs and Dr. Istergo. You saw his legs quivering as he went to the mat. Jeff Blatnick is standing by with Tank Abbott.
Tank, that was a heck of a display of punching power. Was that your game plan going in?
I've got all sorts of things to do, Jeff, as you know. You'll see.
But he was a 400-pounder, and you seem to take down 400 pounds with a chainsaw.
Well, what do you want to know? That's what I am.
Can we expect that same kind of punishment to be on the rest of the fighters in this tournament?
That's only one dimension, Jeff. As you know, that's probably my weakest part of the dimension. I will go on. I'm a little winded right now because I'm excited. Other than that, cakewalk, baby.
Well, we wish you the best of luck.
Thanks, Jeff.
So Tank Abbott with the victory. The crowd in a stunned silence right now following their immediate frenzy as John Matua continues to be worked at and appears to be conscious. Here's a look at the brackets and the way they will unfold tonight, with Tank Abbott now advancing with his victory. Cal Werschen and Paul Varland still ahead. Moncayo and Pat Smith and Dave Beneteau and Oleg Taktarov. Jeff Blatnick is standing by with our referee John McCarthy to give us some further insight. Let's go to Jeff right now.
I'm here with John McCarthy, the referee of that bout and the Ultimate Fighting Championship referee. What did you see and how did you see it?
Abbott hit Matua with a really good hard shot that put Matua back, and he kept on trying to grab, and every third punch he'd hit him a little bit more, and then he finally hit him with a real solid shot. He went back, and when he went back, he was hurt and his head hit the canvas, and that just put him out.
Were you able to get there as quick as possible to stop it?
As quick, with the rules that we have, I got to make sure that it's not when he goes down like a fighting referee, so the other fighter's going to step off. I've got to wait to make sure that he's out of the match to stop it. That's as quick as I could get over there to get Abbott off of him.
With these two size guys, is it difficult for you to be a referee to get in the middle of that and stop them?
And these guys 400 pounds in here. That's a lot of person to try to get to move and stuff. They're getting bigger and stronger and meaner around here. It's going to be a awfully hard competition to enter and win.
Well, certainly are, and I'm sure you're concerned. Is your first priority definitely the safety of these fighters?
That's always my thing. I want to make sure that they come here, they give their best, but they're able to walk out and be just as normal as before when they go home.
Well, there was a lot of speculation about this, two big strikers throwing big roundhouse punches. There was concern over the safety. We hope and pray John Matua is okay. We wish you the best of luck. And
thank you, Jeff.
Betcha. Take care.
All right, John Matua is being helped from the ring. They have oxygen here for all the competitors. It is not a pretty sight. Super fight is ahead later tonight. Dan Severin, Ken Shamrock. That figures to be a dandy. Two guys very disciplined in grappling. And once again, we are pleased to see that John Matua is on his feet, Jim.
Oh, absolutely. I'm so happy for him.
So that fight was 21 seconds of fury. And Tank Abbott, who a lot of people figured might go to the finals, has advanced. Well, we continue in the quarterfinals of the UFC. Cal Werschen against Paul Varland. Varland's much bigger than Werschen. Right now, we're looking forward to meeting our next competitor. Taekwondo stylist Cal Worsham got the call to fight just 9 days ago. But if there's one thing this ex-Marine is used to, it's overcoming tough challenges.
Hi, I'd like to say hello to all my students back home at Folsom Taekwondo. Hi to the wife and kids, and I'm here to party in the octagon.
From Folsom, California. Taekwondo point fighting tournaments 33-2, ranked #1 by the International Taekwondo Council, the ITC, which is a national council. Also has a black belt in Taekwondo. He's a red collar instructor. He's married with 3 kids, an instructor at Jack Corey's Folsom Taekwondo Academy, and he's waiting to hear from the Department of Corrections in California, hoping to be a corrections officer in the next couple of weeks. There's a look at Worsham.
Well, he's very compact.
Very calm. He's a Christian. He says he changes when he gets in there, that he puts it down. He's honorable while he's in there. He won't cheap shot his opponent, and he said he'll only react to what his opponent does to him. So if his opponent escalates any kind of cheap shotting or any type of strikes, then he will accelerate to that end as well.
And his opponent tonight is undefeated in bare knuckle matches. Trap fighter Paul Varolin stands at 6'8" and weighs in at 300 pounds. And anyone who thinks they can win the UFC title is going to have to go through him first.
It's an honor to be accepted for the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Things have got a little too virtual for me. This is the real deal. Let's get it on.
He's called the Polar Bear, fighting out of Sunnyvale, California. Trap fighting, a hybrid martial arts form developed by Ernie Karwowski. Whatever is effective is used, whatever isn't died off. It's called trap fighting because you set up your opponent, then trap them. You bait the trap, then take your prey. He played high school football and wrestling at a football scholarship to San Jose State. Played there for 3 years, 8 years experience in wrestling.
If you tell me, I was going to ask you if you're ready. So give me that number and say, let's get it on.
Paul Varlin's from a unique discipline, trap fighting.
Well, I think that's what it's going to be now because they have to learn so many different things. They call it cross fighting now, right?
Exactly. And what they'll do is they'll take the best from all the disciplines that seems to be successful here in the octagon. So the UFC has had an immediate impact on the martial arts world.
Yes.
There's all these new strains of combatic techniques and disciplines coming about.
For the introduction of the fighters, let's go up to ring announcer Michael Buffer.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we go to the second quarter-final match. Introducing first, representing the Korean art of Taekwondo. He's 32 years old and stands 5 feet 10 inches tall. He weighs 220 pounds. He's a black belt ranked #1 in the world by the International Taekwondo Council. His record in point fighting competition is 33-2. Ladies and gentlemen, from Folsom, California, he is Cal Worsham. And his opponent across the octagon, standing 6 feet 8 inches tall and weighing 300 pounds, 25 years old, representing the unknown art of trap fighting. He's undefeated in bare knuckle matches and hails from the Arctic north of Fairbanks, Alaska, where they call him the Polar Bear. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Paul Varlin.
Look at the tail of the tape. 300 Varlin, Worsham, 230 Worsham is 7 years the senior of Varlin's. Both from California.
An obvious size disparity here, height and weight, going to the much bigger Varlin.
Second quarter final match. The winner will take on Tank Abbott.
You ready?
Not an enviable task at this point. Now we're underway. Quick kick by Worsham.
Oh, Worsham got a shot in there.
Worsham landing rights and lefts. Worsham with an uppercut. And he scores with the knee against his bigger opponent. Cal Worsham, they're still on their feet longer than most matches go.
Oh, you're going to have two tired fighters here. They might have punched each other out just in that.
Couple knees to the stomach by Worsham. Blood streaming from Varlins. Worsham lands again with a right hand.
Front headlock by Varlin there. He could have tried to choke a little bit. Not a good leverage position, though.
Now a bit of fatigue steps in after that series of punches. Elbow by Varlins. Worsham lands some punches to the face again. And Varlins is bloody.
Oh, that's going to be it. That's going to be it.
An elbow to the head of Cal Worsham. Wow.
Oh, boy. Whoa, boy.
He's all right.
He's okay.
He's okay. But he took some shot.
Some big people here.
Lots of power.
Lots of power.
Leon Tabbs, the cut man, and Dr. Richard Istrigo quickly in the ring as Varlins took a lot of punches. He's bloodied up right in the nose area. But that big elbow, Jim, was a definitive blow.
Oh, yes. All that power, all that weight was behind it.
And thus far, this event has been fast and furious.
Fast and furious and crazy.
And
I
Worsham,
did not see any disciplines at work. I just saw swinging.
And Worsham, 80 pounds lighter than Varlins, gave a tremendous account of himself.
He almost had it.
Here's another look at it. There's that big shot to the head. It was an elbow to the head. And that proved to be the story. The towel was thrown in, but the ref had stopped the fight first.
Big John knows what to do, babe.
So Paul Varlins, representing trap fighting, advances. And he'll be going up against Tank Abbott. And Jim, that will be a heavyweight affair.
Well, I'm telling you, I don't know if he's going to be able to come back. You know, it's difficult to go through these kinds of things when you got to fight 3 fights. Super fight might be the thing.
Varlins cooling off in the ring, gathering his composure.
He's got a big swollen area under the left eye there.
He looks to be okay. We saw Cal Worsham leave the ring under his own feet, his own strength.
Oh, yes, he's tough. He's tough, very determined.
Varlins being attended to because the thing he wants to do is to be able to continue.
Well, I think he's going to have to get a little quicker, too.
Jim,
he took
another
a lot
look.
of punishment.
It wasn't flush on the head. If it was, it could have been more of a blow.
Well, yes. I don't know how much more, but...
Okay. Let's go to Jeff Blatnick.
Great bout there. It seems like you got caught a little bit in the beginning. He seemed to be able to catch you.
We're all good. That's why we're here. He's no walk around, man. Nobody here is not a tough individual.
Can we expect the same style from you? A lot of punching on the feet?
No.
You saw Tank, I don't know if you saw Tank Abbott's first bout, but he was able to take out Mature in about 21 seconds. You're both the big guys here. You both throw big, heavy punches. Is that what we can expect in this fight?
I haven't made up my mind yet.
Well, we want to wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
Certainly welcome.
Well, there's no doubt that Varlins is focused on his task, and I don't think he had too much he wanted to give away.
No, I don't know what he's going to be able to do because I don't know how much technique he's going to be able to come up with if he's attacked.
I'll be honest with you, Jim. I don't think he's thinking ahead right now. He's just glad to get out of it.
I don't blame him. He's breathing hard. He's bloody. He's got that big mouse under his eye, and he's got a lot to think about before the next fight.
Especially knowing that he's going to be taking on Tank Abbott next.
And Tank seems not to be hurt at all.
Only 21 seconds of action for Tank as well, so he didn't expend too much out of the gas tank.
With a nasty attitude.
Leon Spinks, the former heavyweight champion of the world.
They said he wants to get in this.
What do you think?
I have silence on this broadcasting tape.
Well,
Leon.
Well, there's a fighter the fans want.
That's right. UFC. Boxers have never done well here.
Pretty good crowd here at the Casper Event Center, but just held the kickoff date for the nationwide Pearl Jam Tour. Time to look ahead to our next bout as we move to the bottom half of the main draw. And you can see the fans getting ready for this next one. It's Rudyard Moncayo of Kempo Karate against Pat Smith, the kickboxer. Rudyard Moncayo, let's find out a little bit more. Representing Ecuador, Kenpo stylist Rudyard Moncayo will be bringing a little Latin heat to the octagon tonight.
Some of the other fighters want to win for their trainers, families, and friends. I have a whole country out there pulling for me, and I don't want to let them down.
And here comes the Pitbull, Rudyard Moncayo from Guayaquil, Ecuador. Representing Deportiva Sportiva of Ecuador, 78-0 in full contact karate matches. He's the Todo Dare champion of Ecuador. Everything goes in Todo Dare. Also well-disciplined in judo, a black belt, Kempo Karate, a black belt, purple belt, jiu-jitsu. He started and discovered judo at age 15. Here's a look at Kempo Karate and what he hopes to accomplish.
He's a striker. He prefers to do that combination stuff up on his feet, not much on the ground.
Well, I'll tell you, this one's probably going to end up on the ground because Pat Smith said he wants to get it down on the ground.
Says he's been practicing there, Jim.
Been practicing there, learned a big lesson there, got beat down there, and want to do something about it.
So Moncayo takes out a veteran of the UFC in his third competition, Pat Smith. The last time UFC veteran Pat Smith stepped into the octagon, it was to fight for the title. He won't be letting it get away from him this time around.
I fought in UFC 1, I fought in UFC 2. I fought chemo overseas in Japan. I think I have the most experience out of everybody in this competition. It's my big chance to win in UFC 6.
Pat Smith is 2-2 in the UFC. A finalist in UFC 2, he lost to Royce Gracie. And he had one of the most awesome finishes in the history of this event when in the first round of UFC 2, an elbow strike put away ninjutsu artist Scott Morris.
There's more than one elbow strike, as I recall. There's a flurry of them. A dynamic fighter, a kickboxer. He's a great striker. As Jim and I alluded to, he's been practicing grappling skills because he ended up on the ground in his 2 losses and was helpless there.
Absolutely, and he learned a lot because he came back in with so much respect for this particular event, and he's actually a more humble individual at this particular time.
He only has 2 losses in the octagon to 2 big names, Ken Shamrock, Royce Gracie.
Now Smith, the striker, he does do Muay Thai kickboxing, Subaki fights as they call them, so he's competent with some kicks and some knees, particularly elbows. Of course, he'd use his head if he has the opportunity to apply some headbutt.
So we're set to go. Rudyard Moncayo against Pat Smith. Let's go up to our ring announcer, Michael Buffer.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we go to our third quarterfinal match. Introducing first, representing the country of Ecuador and fighting out of Santa Ana, California. He's a black belt in the art of Kenpo Karate. 25 years old, 5 feet 10 and weighing 205 pounds. He's undefeated in full contact karate with a record of 78-0, 65 by knockout. He is Rudy, the Pitbull Moncayo. And his opponent across the octagon, standing 6 feet, 2 inches tall. He weighs 217 pounds and comes to us tonight from Aurora, Colorado. A kickboxer with black belts in Taekwondo and Muay Thai Karate. He's a veteran of the UFC with a record of 2-2. Ladies and gentlemen, the very popular Patrick Smith.
Here's a look at the tail of the tape. Smith, 12 pounds heavier than Moncayo. He is older, but he's seasoned in the UFC. It's Moncayo's first visit to the octagon. Both fighters from California. Smith was born in Colgate, Oklahoma. Here we go. Smith and Moncayo. third quarterfinal match of UFC 6.
Get back in the circle. Get back. Are you ready? Get your ass back all the way over.
John McCarthy trying to get Smith back to his starting spot. Here they go. Smith lands a quick leg to the face of Moncayo. And Moncayo got back up.
He hit him in the chest, actually, there, Bruce. He caught him high in the chest, and it flattened Moncayo.
Moncayo back on his feet.
And this is where that kickboxing, that element of knees and elbow strikes, short hits, takes out your opponent there, taking some rib shots.
Shot to the body by Pat Smith.
That's also a chokehold there.
Moncayo by the head and lands an elbow, and another elbow. Smith continues to pop away, and now uses the fence of the octagon for leverage. Moncayo tried to battle back. He had one shot to the body. Now Smith takes it to the ground.
This is where Smith is so tough. If Moncayo doesn't know the guard, he's in for a rude awakening here.
Big shot by Smith.
Choke there. He's got a tight choke.
That's it. That's it.
Oh, Smith is learning some ground stuff.
What a fight.
He wins by choke. Oh, is he fired up.
Well, we saw some technique.
And we saw some power.
Yes.
And great affection there, great respect. Smith comes over to the corner, shakes hand with Todd Medina, El Turbaran, the manager of Rudyard the Pitbull Moncayo, and they both exit the ring together.
Well, Smith has been here before, and you can see it.
He trained for this for 6 months. And it shows. 1 minute, 15 seconds. Jeff Blatnick.
Okay, Pat, so you talked to us about improving your grappling skills. It seems as though you've picked up some submission holds.
That's what it takes to win this. You gotta have a lot of grappling experience. Because you can't fight on the ground, you can't fight.
Well, tell you what, let's take a look at how you finished off that match there. You started off with a wonderful kick to the chest. You flattened your opponent, and then you were able to finish. Take a peek here. Tell us what was going through your mind.
Oh. Right here, I just wanted to go to him. I want to be really aggressive in this thing. I had him in the wrong arm there. I hadn't practiced on this arm. I would have choked him out already. I wanted to get him here. I was loosening him up back here, hitting him on these nerves right behind his head. I didn't get to use no headbutts. I didn't get to use none of the stuff I've been practicing. This was all Thai fight right here.
So you like the in-close knee
right here.
And then once
Saito Kaikan in Japan taught me all that stuff.
But once you got him to the ground here, it seems as though we were going to see your elbows again. Is that what you were looking for?
Just trying to take my time and wait. I ain't in no hurry.
And here comes the finish now. You got him in the chokehold, pull him over backwards.
I had never practiced getting that choke like that, but when you get a hold of it, you just hold it.
All right, well, Pat, we want to wish you the best of luck. Continued success.
My son out there in the world, Colorado. What's up, son? I did this one for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pat Smith.
Okay, Jeff, so Pat Smith is on to the semifinals. Our next matchup on paper, certainly one of the best of the opening round, Dave Beneteau, who went to the finals in UFC 5, and Oleg Tektarov, who was taken out by Dan Severn in UFC 5, and we all know that Severn went on to win the championship. David Beneteau representing Canada. Canadian wrestler Dave Beneteau was an alternate in UFC 5, but still made it to the finals. This time, he's hoping to take it all the way.
Hi, I'd like to say hi to all my friends in Canada. Je veux dire bonjour à tous mes amis à Québec. I'd like to say hi to all my friends up at Simon Fraser University. Thank all my generous sponsors. And I'd like to thank Semaphore Entertainment Group for putting on the UFC to allow me to test my abilities.
He is a paramedic for the city of Windsor, Ontario. President of his local union of members for the city of Windsor. He sits on its bargaining team for contract negotiations for the entire province. He's also a man who's had 17 national titles and went to 4 world championships. 2-1 in the UFC. He was an alternate in UFC 5. He lost in the finals to Severin after beating Todd Medina in the semis. Dave Beneteau. Jim?
Well, I'll tell you, he's a big guy, he's strong, he has a certain amount of technique. He's fighting a man that's much smaller than him, a man that has a lot of technique. It's going to be a very interesting fight. David versus Goliath.
In a way, that's the truth, and of course, Beneteau has some punching power. He likes to get to that mounted position and rain punches down. He'll use his grappling ability to try to get to that mounted position. Taktarov, a master of submission holds, and he's not going to be wearing a gi, is what he told us, and normally he does. It's an important element in being able to choke your opponent in some of the submission locks. This is a clash of styles, definitely difference in body type. Should be a good fight.
A closer look now at the man who's been training with Ken Shamrock and a guy who's coming back for his second straight UFC. Russian Sambo champion Oleg Taktarov returns to the UFC hoping to redeem himself. With 7 Russian and world titles under his belt, he will be a force to contend with in the octagon.
I know a lot of my friends watching me right now. I know my son gonna watch me, my son Sergey. And I know, I see no way how I can lose. I'm gonna win.
He is the world Sambo champion. Sambo was the Soviet national martial art developed in the 30s for the military. It's a hybrid of judo and wrestling. Sambo is still compulsory for everyone in the Russian military. Oleg Taktarov, 1994 champion Iron Gladiator tournament in Europe, 4-time European Asian full contact Jiu-Jitsu champion.
Interesting character. Didn't like the fact that the fight stopped last time. Resented it.
Had a lot of blood in the eye, and he said in Russia they just keep going if that happens. You wait until you tap out.
I guess so in Russia.
Well, he apologized to Ernie Verdicchia after UFC 5 because he did not shake his hands. He said he was sorry. He said in Russia, we simply bow after a bout. Let's take a look at the tail of the tape for this 4th quarterfinal match between Taktarov and Beneteau. Taktarov is the lighter of the two, giving away about 40 pounds because Beneteau's gone from 258 to 250 recently while training at Simon Fraser University in Burnaby, British Columbia, which was his alma mater. You can see they're both the same age. Beneteau, they 2-inch advantage, and this is an international fight, guys. Canada against Russia.
Gorky Park.
So we're standing by. We're waiting for the ringside physician to return to the octagon. So there is a delay at the present time. Tank Abbott, Paul Varlins, Pat Smith have all advanced in the UFC. Abbott in 21 seconds after flattening John Matua, who we understand is okay after taking that severe fall. Paul Varlins with the elbow to the head, the victory over Cal Worsham, and Pat Smith over Rudyard Moncayo. And there's David Hasselhoff.
We should be having an interview with him a little bit later on
He's got
in
a
the
big
show.
The Baywatch star.
He's successful.
You betcha. Baywatch.
Fighters are now ready. We're still standing by for the doctor as you look at Taktarov.
Jeff, let me interrupt it. Call this one for me, Jeff.
Who's going to win this one? I have no idea, Jim. If I go with my heart, I go with the grappler. If I go with my senses, I think Taktarov might have a little bit too much technique.
Okay.
Submission holds.
All right, now let's go up to ring announcer Michael Buffer.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the 4th and last of our quarter-final matchups. Introducing first, returning to the octagon tonight, a UFC veteran, a wrestler fighting out of Windsor, Ontario, Canada. 28 years old. He's 6'2" and weighs 258 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, David Beneteau. And his opponent across the octagon, fighting out of Lockford, California, by way of Gorky, Russia. 27 years old, 6 feet tall, 215 pounds. He is the 1994 Iron Gladiator champion, the 4-time European and Asian Jiu-Jitsu champion, the Russian national judo champion, the world Sambo champion, and returning UFC veteran, he's known as the Russian Bear. Ladies and gentlemen, Oleg Tatarov.
Here we go, Tatarov against Beneteau. John McCarthy will say, let's get it on, and then it is battle. We're at the Casper Event Center, Casper, Wyoming, underway. Beneteau goes right for Tatarov's legs and tries to bring him down, and he does.
And Tatarov right into the guard.
And this is what Tatarov thrives on. But I think Beneteau remembers what Severin did, getting his head up against the fence.
This is where Oleg is supposedly weak, is in against the fence, but he's gotten back to his feet now. Let's see what Beneteau can do to try to get him back under.
Last time, Tatarov had a right knee injury. He said it'll be much tougher as Beneteau solidly punches away at Tatarov. Tatarov shoots a leg. Oh, what a spinning move! And back they are in that same position, Jeff.
And Beneteau is cut. Beneteau is cut. Must have gotten hit. Oh, and he's being choked out.
Beneteau taps out.
That's where that technique always comes through.
Beautiful move by Tatarov.
That's that quality you were talking about. Oversized.
A bloody Beneteau. And Leon Tabs quickly comes in to take care of him. Tatarov congratulates Beneteau. Great deal of respect there between those two fighters, Jim.
A lot of respect here tonight.
An incredible quarterfinal round.
You never know with the technician either. It looked like he was in trouble. The next thing you knew, the fight was over.
He is as comfortable on the mat, I think, as Hoist Gracie. He was on the mat a couple times, and he won from the ground. Jeff?
Oleg, it seems that you picked up some from your experience in your last UFC. What have you learned?
Nothing learned. Money okay, my health okay, my friends with me. I know a lot of friends watching me from Russ, from Texas, from California. My son when they watch me. I cannot lose. Guy Mesner can help you.
Oleg, can you take a look at the replay, Oleg, right here? We have a replay. Tell us what you were thinking here. This is the start of the fight. You decided to mix it up and punch. He was able to take you down, but you see you're still punching. Is that something we can expect from you?
I can do anything. I can do punch.
Well, you wish you the best.
Well, Jim, I thought that was a pretty straightforward answer. I can do anything.
It really was, but I heard a lot of hard breathing.
Yeah, me too.
There's two more fights in this doggone contest. You never know.
Here's the tap out. As you can see, that's the choke, Jeff.
Beneteau probably didn't even expect that. That's just an overhook over his head, and because of his Sambo experience, he turned that into a definite chokehold. And Beneteau, when you're out of air, it doesn't matter who you are, whether you're on top, on bottom, you got to stop.
You're so right, Jeff. It's been the most effective technique that I've seen in 6 of these.
That's right. The choke seems to be the most popular.
Will get anybody.
That's right.
All right, here's a look thus far at what has transpired in the main draw. Tank Abbott, 21 seconds. Ref stops fight over John Matua. Paul Varlins, 1:05. Elbow to the head. Ref stops the fight, 1:05. Pat Smith, 1:15. Chokehold. Oleg Tatarov, 54 seconds and a chokehold, and he advances as well. So those 4 have moved on. Abbott, Varlins, Smith, and Tatarov. Okay, so we're set to go for our first semifinal of the evening. David Tank Abbott from Pit Fighting against Paul Varlins from Trap Fighting. It'll be Tank Abbott making his way into the ring first. Tank Abbott made quick work of John Matua. You heard from Dr. Istrigo about the update on Matua. Abbott, a man on a mission. He says, I've had actual real-life experience using the skills I have, and that's what sets me apart. Not like these guys who think they're tough. Says, I don't know how violent I'm going to get, but if I'm unscathed going into the finals, there's going to be some popping.
Yeah.
I think we saw some popping already.
Oh, we've seen some popping.
His fists have got a little bit of dynamite in them.
The polar bear about to enter the octagon and make his long walk from the dressing room area. We're in Casper, Wyoming for almost 75 years, the city known as the oil capital of the Rockies. We're at the Casper Event Center, and Paul Marlin's ready to engage David Tank Abbott in the first semifinal of the UFC 6. Marlin's won in 1:05, Tank Abbott in 21 seconds.
Well, Jeff, I'm going to throw that to you again. What are you thinking of this big guy?
After what I saw, I think Abbott, because Worsham got in on Varlin and was hitting him in the head. I don't think Worsham had quite the power that Tank Abbott does in those punches.
I don't think he's quick enough, but we'll have to see. I don't know. Maybe he'll come up with something else.
Right now, let's go to Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, SEG Sports Corporation presents the first of the semifinal matchups, with the winner advancing to the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing first, he's the first pit fighter to compete in the octagon with a bare-knuckle record of 7-0, 30 years old, 6 feet tall, 265. He won his quarterfinal match. Now advancing to this one, they call him the Tank. He is David Abbott. And his opponent across the octagon, 6 feet 8, 300 pounds, 25 years old, advancing from his quarterfinal to this match. An expert in the art of trap fighting, undefeated in bare-knuckle matches from the Arctic north of Fairbanks, Alaska, the polar bear, Paul Varlins.
Remember, Varlins had a big cut earlier on. Here's a look at the tail of the tape. Abbott 5 years older. Varlins 8 inches taller. Varlins 20 pounds heavier. Both California natives. It's the Tank against the polar bear. John McCarthy assumes the position as referee.
You ready? Let's get it on.
Look out!
Big people.
Tank quickly pushes Varlin into the fence.
And he's looking for some of that grappling skill.
Nice move by Tank.
And I have a feeling Tank Abbott's going to end this fairly quickly.
Nice control by Abbott. Varlin throws an elbow. Didn't do much damage. Tank's got him up near the fence as Varlin punches back. Abbott again on top. Big left hand by Tank Abbott. Another by Abbott. Abbott pounding Varlin's head.
Keep walking. Let's go.
Shot to the midsection by Tank Abbott. Varlin's bleeding from the nostrils.
Well, they're up against the fence here. It's tough for either one of them to move very much. As long as Varlins has his head there, Tank can't really come upright to punch at the head.
Tank with the shot to the midsection, now to the head. Tank Abbott trying to finish. Varlin's trying to still push him off. Tank's got his knee in his face. Varlin's bloody in the nostrils. Tank is using that fence as a weapon.
He's kneeing Varlin in the head, and he's enjoying doing it here. Please look up.
He's smiling at the crowd. Oh my, a couple big shots to the head by Abbott. And that is it. John McCarthy stops it. John McCarthy stopped the bout. Varlins doesn't but McCarthy pulls him off quickly. Oh, is he upset?
Judgment call, referee felt it should be stopped.
A minute 51. Tank Abbott is into the finals. McCarthy raises the head of the Tank. Undefeated in bare knuckle matches, and that streak continues. Jim Varlins just did not want to quit.
It's a very tough call. He could have been maimed because his face was exposed, and I was happy that the referee stopped it.
I agree.
He came up with a lot of energy. He wasn't tired. He had a lot of heart, but I don't want to see him maimed in the face.
Here's Tank's aggressiveness early on. He went right for the leg and wanted to do his work on the ground.
Yes. I think he's a striker, basically, because he knows he can punch.
And he used the fence here as a vehicle.
He used the fence, he used a knee, he was composed.
We haven't seen much of that with the smile. Usually you see more respect.
This guy's different. He has no respect. He's from the streets. He's doing a lot of things that are different. It has nothing to do with the martial arts. This guy is a street fighter.
Here's Jeff Blattner.
Tank, you said you could do anything. You had a lot of surprises. You turned to a little bit of grappling there.
Sure did. He said earlier in his little preview thing, he likes to take people down and tickle them. I just want to tickle his brain a little bit.
Let's take a look at the finish here. Why don't you give us a little commentary on the finish?
Well, all I'm doing is, I'm starting to get sexually aroused. You better get that off.
Well, Tank, you've taken out the two biggest men here at this UFC.
That's right. What can you say? Wait till you see me in the finals. It'll turn into a skill match. Everybody will see the skills I have.
Well, Tank, we wish you the best of luck.
Thanks, Jeff.
Tank Abbott is on to the finals, and he will get a little bit of a break because we will have the super fight before we get to the finals of the UFC. So Tank's got a little time now, although he's only been in the octagon for a total of 2 minutes and 12 seconds. 21 seconds in the first round, a minute 51 in the semifinals.
In his interview, he had the same attitude that he has now.
Yes, he did.
I've never seen anyone that talked the talk and backed it up 100%.
And walked the walk.
Walked the walk, no doubt about it.
Well, we've received word that Pat Smith has stomach cramps, so there is a delay here in the next bout, which is Smith and Taktarov.
I liked what Jim had to say there. Normally here, and in the 3 UFCs I've been to, normally the biggest talkers are those that don't have a lot of wallop behind their fighting skills.
Absolutely. The guy's fighting exactly like he said. We don't know what he's going to do.
He's definitely displayed the fact he's a heavy puncher, and he also had said that, and I know he's worked out with some very good wrestlers in preparation for this, that he had some grappling skill, and that was evident. He took the big guy down after exchanging a couple shots, and once he got Varlin down, it seemed that Varlin couldn't solve the riddle of how to protect himself from those big blows.
Not quick enough.
Jim, do you think he's the meanest one we've seen?
Yeah, he's evil.
Jim,
he likes it. He likes pain. He likes violence, and he's awfully confident.
And Jim, in this first open style martial arts tournament competition, the UFC, the toughest martial arts event in the world, we've seen mutual respect. We have not seen laughing or that smirk in the ring at all. That is surprising.
Well, it is surprising. Like I say, he has a background that's quite different than most of these guys.
The doctor is backstage right now checking out Pat Smith. If for some reason he cannot continue, they will go with the first alternate. And that would be Anthony Macias. There's Joel Sutton, who won in his alternate bout, but he's unable to continue, so he would not be an alternate. We understand that Guy Mezger, who has been in the UFC before would be the second alternate following Anthony Macias. Mezger's actually working in a corner tonight
with Oleg Taktarov.
Taktarov came to America, I think, 7 months ago. His best friends are Shamrock, Macias, Metzger. He's got all the guys in the UFC.
Well, I guess if you're going to learn and learn from the people who've been there with experience. You want to befriend some of these guys, but it also dispels the hatred factor. A lot of people think they come in here absolutely hating everyone, and we've really seen that that's a rarity.
This is too tough to hate people in.
You've got to have respect for that individual.
In football, we had a lot of respect for our opponents because we had to all survive. And when you play in a game like this, a game like football, you have a lot of pride in being able to survive. You're glad to shake the hand of your opponent with respect.
Gentlemen, let's take a look now at the new bracket. Oleg Taktarov and Anthony Macias, the next bout due up. Taktarov, the Sambo world champion. Anthony Macias, Muay Thai or Thai boxing, 38-4. Taktarov will make his way into the octagon. Oleg Taktarov. He started Sambo at age 15. Served 2 years in the Russian military. He teaches at the World Academy of Sambo in Gorky, 200 miles outside of Moscow. He likes being on the freeway, and he enjoys American women.
Uh-oh. Join the camp.
So friends meet in the octagon. Taktarov and his opponent, Anthony Mad Dog Macias. Macias is a professional Muay Thai boxer and a UFC veteran. When the gate shuts behind him, his opponents will learn why they call him Mad Dog.
I've been really concentrating on my training since the last UFC. I've got my head on straight. I'm a live wire. Just shut that gate and let me go.
Here comes the Mad Dog, Anthony Macias. He lost to Dan Severn in the first UFC 4. And that was the amazing shot you see from time to time, the back suplex that Severn nailed him with. He's been a street fighter since he was a kid, studying karate since age 12. He says on Dan Severn that he was a monster. Once he got a hold of me, it was over. He's been working out with Guy Metzger and some judo people for the past 6 months and grappling with another former UFC competitor, Andy Anderson. He says, if I lose tonight, I'm history. My career is over. For the particulars of the introductions, let's go to Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this semifinal matchup will meet David Tank Abbott in the UFC Championship Final. Introducing first, fighting out of Lockford, California by way of Gorky, Russia, 27 years old, 6 feet tall, 215 pounds, and he's captured multiple world martial arts titles. Ladies and gentlemen, the Russian Bear, Oleg Taktarov. And his opponent, across the octagon, substituting for Pat Smith tonight, who was unable to continue. He was the winner earlier tonight of his alternate battle, fighting out of Dallas, Texas. He's a professional Thai kickboxer with a record of 38-4, 32 by knockout. 26 years old, standing 5 feet 10 and weighing 190 pounds. He is Anthony Mad Dog Macias.
Taktarov against Macias. The tail of the tape. Not much difference in size. Taktarov a little bit bigger, which is unusual for him. He is from Gorky, Russia, born in Sarov, Russia. Macias from Dallas, born in Oklahoma City.
They both have the same promoter, Buddy Albin. And Albin has chosen to go in Taktarov's corner for this particular fight.
The winner has the unenviable task right now of taking on Tank Abbott in the championship of UFC 6.
Let's get it on!
They get it on. Macias goes for the leg of Taktarov.
Oh, here's a choke right now.
Oh,
Taktarov's got him on a choke.
That's it. Tap out. It was lightning quick.
Good job. Good job.
A choke by Taktarov. wanted to be in there.
Yeah, you got to be honest.
You have to wonder.
No, you got to be honest.
You got to wonder here.
No, it's not good. But it might be good for us because Taktarov will be ready for the final.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner.
All right, Jim, I know what you're thinking. I'm thinking the same thing. He just comes in there, shoots the leg. Taktarov sets him up. The perfect position for the choke. It only took 21 seconds.
Yes.
You're not happy about it?
Well, I wasn't really happy about the whole thing of friendship.
Oleg, you had a great bout there. He took a shot on your legs, a wrestler's double leg. You overhooked the head. What'd you do from there?
Guys, I have experience 15 years. Maybe this guy is a good kickboxer, but he's too small for grappler, I think. I feel very bad that I couldn't fight with Pat Smith. It was my dream. I wanted to make him leg choke and leg locks, or a knee block, or ankle locks, because I know nobody in America knows this stuff.
Well, you're 2 for 2 with chokes. You got Tank Abbott. Can we look for you to put a choke on Abbott tonight?
It's just a case. Guys shoot me first. I have no chance, just choke.
Well, Oleg, we wish you luck against Abbott tonight.
Okay, thanks.
Bruce?
Taktarov wins in 12 seconds is the official timer now given, as Guy Mensker talks to his friend Andy Anderson, also walking out with Mad Dog Macias, who never had a shot. Well, it has been anything but boring. Semifinal matchup becomes a final matchup. Abbott and Taktarov, and that is a beaut on paper. You've got the power of Abbott, although he says we will see some skill in the championship, and you've got Taktarov, master of the discipline of Sambo. Okay, we talked a little bit earlier on the question for you at home, so let's take a look at the numbers on the internet survey. Who would win the super fight? The new numbers are in, and still Dan Severn leads 55% to 39%, with 6% feeling that this one will end up as a draw. It will be our next bout tonight, the super fight between two great fighters, Dan Severn and Ken Shamrock. So it's Severn and Shamrock coming up next. Then we'll have the championship between Tank Abbott and Oleg Taktarov. Well, Jeff Blatnick is standing by with a fighter we expect to see in the future in the UFC. Let's go to Jeff right now.
I'm here with Marcos Ruas, a very competent fighter from Brazil and hopefully a participant in UFC 7. And Marcos, you've seen some of the fighters here tonight and what it takes to be successful in the octagon. How do you think you stack up?
Tá querendo saber como é que você acha que você vai fazer na luta do Ultimate.
Eu venho me preparando há muitos anos, estou pronto para ganhar eles. Muito tempo que eu venho nessa preparação e estou tranquilamente, sei que vou me dar bem.
He's been preparing himself for this type of competition for a long time, so he believes he'll do well in this competition.
Well, what sort of skills can you bring into the octagon that would help you win?
Qual é a habilidade que você vai trazer para o octagon, para esse ringue que vai lhe ajudar a vencer?
Vai ter um equilíbrio das três técnicas, a parte técnica, a parte física e a parte espiritual também, que eu acho muito importante.
He has an equal balance of the spiritual side, the psychological and the technical.
Okay, there seems to be a mystique about Brazilian fighters. Royce Gracie's done very, very well here. They seem to be some of the toughest in the world. Do you feel Brazilian fighters are tougher than American fighters?
Aparentemente os lutadores brasileiros se dão muito bem nas competições, Royce Gracie, e ele quer saber se existe algum místico entre os lutadores brasileiros. O que é que você acha?
Eu acho que o Brasil já tem uma tradição de muitos anos, mais de 60 anos. Essa eu acho que é a vantagem. Já nasceu com isso há muitos anos.
Brazil has been competing in this type of competition for over 60 years, so he feels that's the upper hand we have over the Americans.
Is there anyone that you've seen here tonight that you would like to fight in UFC 7?
Is there anybody here? Tem alguém aqui que tu gostaria de lutar em particular?
Dan Severn, Ken Shamrock.
Dan Severn or Ken Shamrock.
Well, Marcus, we look forward to hopefully seeing you compete in UFC 7.
Que estão esperando ansiosamente que você venha lutar no Ultimate número 7.
É um prazer.
My pleasure.
Back to you, Bruce.
Thank you very much, Jeff. UFC 7 could see that gentleman. From what we hear, he has lots of talent. Here we go. UFC 6 super fight. Daniel Severin, Ken Shamrock. Two masters of their discipline. Let's meet one of our competitors. A three-time UFC star, a super fight veteran, and the Pancrase Association World Champion, Ken Shamrock is one of the most popular and respected fighters in the octagon. Let's see what he can do tonight.
I've heard all the hype. I've seen all the press. It's time to step into the octagon and see if Shamrock can't tame Dan the Beast Severin.
Ken Shamrock, Pancrase Association Shoot Fighting Champion. His third UFC. He lost to Royce Gracie. He had a draw with Royce Gracie. 4 years as a shoot fighter, goes to Japan 8 times a year. Managed by Bob Shamrock. In 1977, Ken, a troubled 13-year-old, was adopted by Bob. Bob, who runs the Shamrock Home for Boys, which opened in 1968. And the two are inseparable today. A marvelous story of a man opening up his house and his heart to a troubled youth.
He also made a donation to a youth program here at the local YMCA, both going in and meeting some of these kids, as well as donating $500 to help buy some mats.
Jim, let's look at the shoot fighting things we might see from Shamrock tonight.
Well, of course, he's a grappler. He also throws punches. He deals with arm and leg locks. He put a lock on Pat Smith, and he is a master of submission.
Ken Shamrock from Lockford, California. That's in the Sacramento area, about 40 miles south. Last couple of years, he's also fought in Muay Thai. And there's the Shamrock fans. Shamrock, any of a certain clovers or clover-like plants with leaflets in groups of 3. There's Bob Shamrock, and he is intense when he's watching his son compete.
Well, I'm not sure if the camera caught it, but Ken Shamrock went over there and gave a kiss on the forehead. Shamrock comes in with 3 flags, the American flag, the Japanese flag, and his Lion's Den flag, Lion's Den being the name of his school.
A lot of flags, a lot of experience.
His opponent tonight in the super fight, the
Come on
Beast.
out to the right a little bit, just a little bit. I want to see the belt.
Very narrowly missed taking the title in UFC 4. Dan Severin tore through the competition in UFC 5 to be named the Ultimate Fighting Champion. Tonight, the Beast is back, and he's ready to show the world the meaning of the word super fight.
I've turned up the intensity for this fight. And when I step into the octagon, the person that you see right now will be stepping aside. When that deadbolt slams shut, there'll be time to release the Beast.
Here comes Daniel Severin. He has won so many titles. 1994 National AAU Greco-Roman Champion Senior Division. 1994 National AAU Outstanding Wrestler. National AAU Sambo Champion Senior Division. AAU Sambo World Champion Masters Division. 70-plus titles. I think he's actually found a home, Jim, in the UFC.
Yes, he loves it. He's perfectly matched in this kind of a situation. He approaches it properly. He's grateful for the notoriety he's getting, and he's learning more and more each fight.
Jeff Blatnick, you know his discipline well.
Well, he's a former wrestler. Obviously, he relies on grappling skills to dictate the situation. He'd like to knock you down, get on top of you. He has a number of different finishes that we saw in UFC 5. Prominent being a choke, or of course, punching his opponent. In the corner will be Eric Heibestreit. He will be the man with the towel, and his manager, Phyllis Lee, and wants to say hello to Ohio.
This is the super fight, 30-minute time limit, 5-minute overtime. 50,000 to the winner, 25,000 to the runner-up, 30,000 each if there's a draw. Let's go to Michael Buffer.
Ladies and and gentlemen, SEG Sports Corporation presents the Super Fight. 30-minute time limit in a matchup of two of the most dangerous men in martial arts in the world today. Ladies and gentlemen, from Casper, Wyoming, there's only one thing left to say. Let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, a two-time veteran of the Ultimate Fighting Championship and returning super fighter. Fighting out of Lockford, California, he's ranked #1 in the world by the Japanese Pancrase Association. From Lockford, California, 31 years old, 6 feet tall, 220 pounds. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the shoot fighting champion of the world, Ken Shamrock! And his opponent across the octagon, returning tonight as the reigning Ultimate Fighting Champion, a wrestler with over 70 national and international titles to his credit, a record of 5-1 in the UFC competition. He's 37 years old and comes in weighing 260 pounds. He's 6 feet 2 from Coldwater, Michigan. He is the reigning Ultimate Fighting Champion of the world, Dan the Beast
Weight could be a big factor here. Severin is at 260. Shamrock's up to 225 from 205. 6'2" for Severin, 6 foot for Shamrock. Keep in mind the altitude, 5,140 feet. They can grapple for as long as 35 minutes tonight. 30-minute time limit, 5-minute overtime. I don't expect it to go that long.
Are you ready? Well, let's get it on!
There was lots of concern about a time limit. I don't think that's going to happen. These two are very evenly matched. If it comes down to grappling, I give the edge to Severin. If it comes down to punching, particularly on the feet, I'm going to give it to Shamrock. And here's that wrestling background. They're tying up.
Severin with the weight advantage. Severin black trunks. Shamrock in the lavender trunks.
And Shamrock, during our interview with him, said people don't respect my grappling ability. I think he wants to show people he's a very competent wrestler here. And this is one of the few fights we see where they're not striking in close, they're literally wrestling.
Who will make the first effective move? Severin reaching for the leg, couldn't get it. Shamrock showing surprising power, standing up on his feet, despite giving away the lead. John McCarthy clears an object out of the ring.
But people who don't know wrestling are seeing this and they're wondering what's going on. And this might be frustrating for Severin because Shamrock's just coming in there, trying to just tie Severin up. Let's see now if something else happens.
A restart for the two, and they'll go at it again. This is the UFC at its finest. Cat and mouse game between two masters of their disciplines.
Fatigue is so important in this fight. I think Severin knows that.
Severin and Shamrock continue to grapple on their feet.
Shamrock doing a very nice job of keeping himself away from the fence. Now we'll see what he can do.
Severin's got a
choke.
leg.
That's a choke. Severin got out of it.
Still fighting for the advantage.
Shamrock doing a nice job here. He's going for the choke again.
Shamrock trying to work in on the choke. Severin punching to the leg.
That's it.
That's it.
Shamrock choke. Got choked out.
Performance by Shamrock. What power he's shown on his feet. Oh, there'll be plenty of respect now for Ken Shamrock.
He knew what he was doing.
the super fight. And look at that, Jim. Look at this. This is what makes this event unique.
Oh, yes.
Here was the try at the... He had a chance a couple times at chokes. I think there's one of them right there. And watch Severin get out.
Dan got out of this one, yes.
He got out of the first one.
But I think that Dan realized that this altitude was going to take a lot out of him, because when he stood up, I don't think he believed he could win this fight.
The upper body strength of Shamrock proved to be the difference, as well as his technique.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. He's very strong, but he also has that technique, and that choke is... He almost had it twice, so it means that he probably has much more technique than...
Let's go to Jeff.
I'm here with the victorious Ken Shamrock, winner of the super fight. And Ken, you tamed the beast.
I sure did, you know. There's a lot of speculation about my technique, and that I couldn't wrestle with him on the ground. And if he took me to the ground, he'd win. And he's Greco-Roman. He couldn't take me down, he can't throw me. I proved my ability. I could do submission and I can wrestle.
Well, there was no doubt you seemed to come up there and not mind tying up with a wrestler. You said, people don't respect my grappling ability. It seemed you were quite content to stay in that lock position, make him spend energy.
I want him to throw me. I want to see if he can throw me. If he threw me, then I'd go from there. I want to test his ability. I want to see what he had. Found out he's strong. He's got good balance. But, you know, I was able to hold him off.
Was there any special way you prepared for Seven?
Yeah. I've got my big friend Scott, who's one in my dojo. He's about 260, 270. I believe he'll be on alternate in the next event. So I used him to lay on top of me. I used him to crowd me up against the fence. I practiced the guillotine because I saw him duck his head a lot to grab a leg. So I knew he was going to do that. I wanted to wear him down a little bit in the middle of the ring, make him use some energy trying to take me down. I knew he was going to drive me into the fence. So as soon as I felt he was a little tired, I let him drive me to the fence. I knew he was going to reach for the leg. I ran down and choked him.
It seemed you applied that choke the first time and he was able to get out of it.
Barely. I didn't have it sunk in real deep. That one I was going for the Adam's apple. I was trying to put the bone on the Adam's apple, make him tap quick. But I missed the Adam's apple. The second time I just sunk it in and choked him.
Were you surprised that when he shot there, he just left his head between your legs where you could easily grab it?
No, he's done that before. Every time he puts somebody in the fence, he reaches up for the head and reaches down for the leg. So I had to clear my head, then go for his head.
What's next for Ken Shamrock?
I don't know. I'm going to enjoy this victory, and we'll see what's going to happen next.
Well, as a wrestler, you've earned my respect as a wrestler.
I sure appreciate it, because a lot of people had doubted me against Severin because he was a grappler. And I stayed in the guard with Gracie, so no one really knew what I could do because of Gracie's technique. He keeps people out of using their own technique by keeping them in the guard. So Gracie's good at doing that. But people don't really know when I get wide open, I can do a lot of stuff.
Seems you have another very special person here with you.
Yeah, this is my wife. She's been to all of them also. I think she's better. She's my toughest opponent.
Well, you said you wanted to happy and celebrate this moment. Why don't you take a look here at the monitor and watch yourself in the ring after that fight?
Well, I was pretty happy right there because I knew he was tough, and I just tried to wear him down and choke him out. I knew if I went for a leg, it was going to be tough. I had to get in the right position. But he ducked his head. I was working on that. He did what I thought he'd do. I choked him.
Well, it's obvious your father means a great deal to you. Your wife's here at your side during the super fight. She means a great deal to her. And obviously, this sport, the UFC, seems to mean a great deal to you.
Yeah, I'd like to say hi to my compadres, Felipe and Stella, Gabi, Adriana, Angelica, and Robert, Yolanda, and my three sons, Ryan, Connor, and Shamrock. I love you guys.
There's nobody. How about that belt? How's that feel around your waist?
That's a sweet victory. You know, no one's ever won the super bout. Last time was a draw. I'm the first champion in the super bout. I'm the first champion in Japan. I'm very happy about some of the stuff that I've succeeded at, and I'm going to keep going.
Well, you're a deserved champion. Ken Shamrock, congratulations on your super fight victory. Back to you, Bruce.
Thank you.
That's right. He is the first super fight champ, and there's the first super fight champion's dad. So it will be DL Tank Abbott, Oleg Tektarov. Tektarov, master on the ground. Tank Abbott, who says we're going to see some stuff on the ground, but he is pretty good on his feet. The fighters are on their way. Here comes the Tank.
Jim, what do you think? You're always asking me. I'm going to ask you this time.
Well, I'll tell you, the tank looks good. But once again, technique has been awesome tonight.
It seems that reality dictates Tank, but my heart goes with Oleg. I want to see that science do well.
Well, Oleg didn't want to be called out last time. This time, he's going to be there. If the referee allows him, he's going to show us that he could have lasted the last time.
That's right, under 7. When the referee broke that bout, he was a little bit upset that the referee stopped it. He said, hey, in Russia, if we're bleeding, we keep going.
He's got the heart of a lion. He's got the right man to test it against.
Tank Abbott, his discipline is pit fighting, as we mentioned earlier. And here are some of the things he hopes to employ during the bout.
Well, he's a striker. Definite puncher. We saw that against the 400-pound Matua. He hit him hard, and he knocked that guy down. He says he has grappling abilities. He did display that against Varley.
And he's a headhunter.
And yes, he does like the punch to the head. Doesn't go much to the body, but boy, he'll take it to the head.
So Tank is ready, and so is his opponent, Oleg Taktarov. And we have seen in the UFC that often you have to lose before you reap the rewards. It happened to Severin. It happened to Shamrock. Couldn't happen to Taktarov.
And might this be the learning lesson for Abbott? Maybe he's going to get caught in one of these submissions. It seems the choke has been the way of life tonight. That 3 bouts end that way very effectively.
I think if the Russian can stay out of the way early, he might have a great chance.
The Russian Bear, the Sambo world champion, the Russian national heavyweight judo champ, the 4-time European Asia full contact jiu-jitsu champ. He's been training with Shamrock. Keep that in mind. Might they get the daily double tonight? Set for the formal introductions, and who better to give them to us than Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. The final battle of the UFC number 6, brought to you by SEG Sports Corporation. And now, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Casper, Wyoming, are you ready? There's only one thing left to say. Let's get ready for the Ultimate Rumble! Introducing first, the first pit fighter to compete in the octagon. He's 30 years old, 6 feet tall, weighs in at 265 pounds. Fighting out of Huntington Beach, California, ladies and gentlemen, he is the man known as the Tank. He is David Tank Abbott. And his opponent across the octagon, fighting out of Lockford, California by way of Gorky, Russia, 27 years old, 6 feet tall, 215 pounds, a multiple world martial arts title holder from all over the world. He is the Russian Bear. He is Oleg Taktarov.
Well, Michael Buffer calls it the Ultimate Rumble. Taktarov and Abbott. UFC 6 belt on the line. First UFC for Tank, second for Taktarov. The weight goes to the Tank by 70 pounds. The youth to Taktarov by 3 years. Pit fighter versus Sambo star. The crowd is shouting Tank.
Taktarov is going to have to catch him. Abbott is going to force the action, particularly with punches. And unless Taktarov can get down to the ground, it's going to be very difficult for him to get any kind of submission lock.
What's your very good evaluation.
UFC 6 final underway. Tank Abbott. Oleg Taktarov. Tank, quick move. Tank using that weight. Taktarov working from the ground. He's comfortable there. Tank lets him up. An interesting move, knowing that Taktarov's better on the ground.
Maybe he realizes this is where he wants to fight.
Tank is a brawler. He picks up Taktarov. Tank landing punches.
Why would he do that? Not holding.
Taktarov covering up. Taktarov's doing an okay job here. He really hasn't gotten tagged. Most of those punches are glancing. Some of them might have come close, but this is definitely causing Abbott to spend a lot of energy. Oh, a good little uppercut.
Nice one by Taktarov.
Oh, he got hit there.
He eats a punch.
Yeah, he can't go in there punching with Abbott. He can't punch with Abbott.
Nice move by Taktarov. He's got it right.
I don't think he's going to be able to finish it. Enough grappling skill by Abbott to fend him off. But Abbott now, I think, might have spent a lot of energy here.
Blood from the mouth of Taktarov.
Come on. Keep it working.
Abbott trying to regroup. Taktarov really can't do anything with him here.
Remember the elevation, over 5,000 feet.
Keep working. Come on.
Third fight for each guy.
I think Abbott has sort of punched himself out a little bit here. Oh, good shot.
Again, an uppercut landed by Taktarov.
Let's go.
It could be a choke. This could be a choke. He's got it in there. He's got it in there.
Taktarov looking to finish it.
This doesn't help Abbott. If anything, this makes it tighter. If anything, this will make it tighter.
Watch Tank's right hand. He's in trouble here.
Watch your body.
His head's coming out.
He came out of it.
He's spitting, though. He's spitting. Let's see how much he's got left. He looks tired.
This is where he'll usually throw punches.
Oh, he looks very tired.
Let's get it going. Let's get it going. Come
and Taktarov working from the back.
He doesn't mind being here. He might try an elevator, but I believe that Abbott might have enough grappling experience not to be caught in that.
Here we go.
The key is he going to get his air back so that there's some power behind those punches? It's obvious he's tired. He'll call it waiting. In his mind, he's just waiting.
He's got power in that right hand. Can he and will he use it? Taktarov very comfortable on his back.
Let's go. One warning. Come on, let's go.
The ref has given them a warning that if they don't push the action, there will be a reset on their feet. One of the new rules of the UFC.
But clearly here it's Abbott dictating what's going to happen.
Taktarov with these short punches to the back of Abbott's head. Trying to soften him up.
Not much effect there. No leverage behind him.
Let's work.
The crowd is chanting USA, which is where Tank is from. Both men look winded.
Come on, let's go.
Going for his own choke now, it seems, is Abbott, but with those gloves on, you wonder what kind of a real grip he can get.
Again, it's Abbott on top, Taktarov on the ground. Finals of UFC 6. And there's not much air left for either guy.
Come on,
I think Taktarov here is biding his time. He knows he can't get punched in this position. Well, there he can now, if Abbott sits up. But he also might be baiting the big guy to look for an arm lock. Those arms keep straightening out. If Taktarov starts to slide to the side, watch him there. He's starting to work on an arm.
Abbott landed one punch. Taktarov landing from the ground. Almost 5 minutes in. 30-minute time limit, 5-minute overtime in this championship fight.
Oh. Sharp little punch. Sharp little punch there by Taktarov. I think he's just waiting his time like a Gracie here to breathe.
You gotta work.
Abbott really suffered, I think, in that first initial flurry. He spent a lot of energy.
Jim, the referee continues to tell them both to work.
Well, I think he's doing the right job in letting them stay there because this is great stuff, even though they're not fighting a lot. The energy level.
He's going to go for an arm lock. Didn't happen.
Abbott showing his power when he has to.
There's that elevator. He's trying to set it up, but Abbott knows enough wrestling here to be able to stay on top. If you're the Tank here, you want to try to bring that right hand to bear. Maybe even headbutt. He's much like Severn against Gracie. He really doesn't know where to go here. Or he's waiting until he has enough energy to go ahead and start some kind of a finish.
Everyone here in the Casper Event Center standing. Taktarov punching the back of Tank's head again. Tank gets up a little bit.
Looking for a choke. There's the arm lock. Looking for an arm lock. Go. Nothing yet. Nothing yet.
Tank wants to go to his feet.
He's tired. Tank is definitely tired.
Oh, big right hand by Tank.
He's got his own front headlock, but no choke, no choke.
Taktarov showing some blood.
Let's go!
And that blood is from an earlier cut, from an earlier UFC over the left eyebrow. From what we heard, it was never closed properly.
I really don't think that's the same scar. I think that's off to the side. I don't think bleeding's going to be a factor here like it was in the last one. Abbott trying to lean on Taktarov, take away some of that wind. You see him grabbing out of the shorts. The hips are is how you control your opponent in wrestling. Keep his hips under control, you control his body. Abbott again is dangerous there. Taktarov should try to get some distance.
Could it be a war of attrition over 7 minutes in?
Let's go! Come on, Joe!
At this altitude, 7 minutes is like 17.
Nothing yet. Nothing yet.
Tank again goes on top.
And Tank is really tired. He's still dangerous. He can still throw punches, but it seems that he's really, really tired. Taktarov is not too much better shape. I think he may have a little bit more energy, but he does not have the size nor the power to compete.
But Taktarov has more of the submission moves, which can finish a fight easier, correct?
That is correct. And in this kind of condition, if Taktarov was able to really have some kind of an advantage, and here on his back, he really doesn't have it unless Abbott makes a big mistake, leaving those arms behind.
It allows him to do a lot of defense when he's down there.
That's right.
He won't get hurt. When he's standing up, he can get hurt.
And he has said that his offense is predicated off his defense. Again, Tank Abbott on top, Oleg Taktarov on the mat.
Neither one really doing anything here. I'm sure we're going to see that warning again.
And exhaustion is clearly set in at this 5,100-foot altitude.
Taktarov now moving up the body. He's probably going to try to find an arm here. He'll wait for Abbott to try to throw a punch, and if the Tank leads that arm out too far, there's that arm. You can see him. He's looking at it. He won't give it away yet.
9 minutes in to the finals of UFC 6. Taktarov banging away at the head from the ground. Tank tries to move in again. Taktarov is giving away 50 pounds, maybe more. 9:30 in.
Come on! Let's get it going!
This is Abbott's first real fight here at the UFC. The others were really over with quickly, and he was in such control. Here now he's having to adjust, having to think, and certainly have to go through the suffering of fatigue, Jim.
Well, fatigue, attitude is really what's happening right now. Both fighters are suffering tremendously for it. I noted earlier that everybody was breathing hard, even though they had short fights.
But Abbott is proving he's more than just a brawler.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. He has grappling techniques.
And Taktarov has shown that he does have heart and staying power.
Both fighters showing great heart. 10 minutes in the high altitude of Casper, Wyoming.
And I would not have believed, and really here perhaps I don't ever want to say a mistake about Tank, but if he could get to the mounted position where he's outside of Toktarov's legs instead of inside of them, between them, he would have much better control on top and perhaps have an opportunity to finish with punching. But here he can't get any closer. His knees are stuck back all the way by Toktarov's legs, which allows him no real leverage to punch at the head. He needs to get out of those legs. If he stays in there, he's not going to be able to throw punches.
Toktarov with his eyes closed punching. Is he resting or is he severely fatigued?
He's resting, and I'm sure he's using image and feel. He's trying to feel where Abbott is, and if Abbott gets off balance at all, he's going to try to do that elevator.
He's fatigued and he's resting. That's why he's resting.
Good answer,
They're both fatigued. It makes sense, boy?
Little double entendre.
Oh, is that what they call that?
We might have a fight here in the booth.
Let's go! Oh, no,
But out there in the octagon, it's Abbott and Toktarov. And right now they both appear very tired here at 5,140 feet.
11:35 in to the championship of UFC 6. Tank Abbott, the pit fighter, gets popped. Now he lands a right. He landed a right squarely to Toktarov's face.
That one connected. That's his strength. That's what he wants to bring to bear. But he'll have a little bit more success. See, he's trying to lift himself up to get that leverage, and he's spending a lot of energy. If he comes away empty here, he's going to feel frustrated. If he can beat the legs of Toktarov and get around to the outside, he'd have an easier time punching.
Never question the man on the bottom, however. Royce Gracie proved that in several UFCs, including the championship against Dan Severn in UFC 4.
Here comes another right hand.
Tank trying to get that right hand loose again. Trying to improve his leverage.
Believe me, he's spending all that energy trying to just get that one punch off, and he's not able to do so.
But you know what? In this fight, weight is playing a great part.
You betcha.
The difference in weight is really important here.
To his credit, he's keeping the pressure on Toktarov's neck, keeping his weight on his chest and belly. That impairs the breathing ability of Toktarov, and that could also further fatigue him.
Toktarov keeping his eyes closed very often. Punching again. Tank answers.
Oh, here comes an attempt at a choke by Abbott. He was going to fold the arm over Toktarov's face.
Working. Exhausted.
13 plus minutes in. The battle of wills continue. Might we see a warning from referee John McCarthy?
Well, Abbott has been trying to improve position. Toktarov really unable to do anything there while he's on his back unless Abbott leaves something behind. In other words, gets so far extended one of his arms straightens out while Toktarov is sliding out to the side, or his head. Toktarov will seize his head and choke.
McCarthy continues to tell both fighters to keep it going.
You got one warning, I'm standing up. Let's get busy.
Tank Abbott on top.
Let's go.
Oleg Toktarov on the bottom, the way it's been for almost 14 minutes.
Abbott, don't you fight. I'll take you out. Let's go. Let's go.
McCarthy said, Abbott, you've got to start the fight or it's going to be a restart.
Let's go. Let's go.
This is all strategy here. You can sit and wait and let the referee dictate, or you can do it yourself.
Does the strategy favor Toktarov?
If anything, I think it's going to favor Abbott.
They're standing up. It does.
Favors Abbott.
I think the fatigue factor at the time would be in Toktarov's favor.
The one question is, when Abbott gets to his feet, is he going to be able to do anything? He spends a lot of energy when he goes into those punching flurries, but he inflicts some good damage.
Almost 15 minutes in.
And here he's starting to move up again. But he's definitely breathing hard.
Get it going.
There was talk for a while about a restart after a certain period of time, maybe 10 minutes. But instead the rule was to give the referee the autonomy to decide when there's no action and when they should restart.
He's looking for a choke here.
Abbott punishing Taktarov.
Did he tap?
Oh no. No taps. But you see now he's going to let go of it and they're going to go back to the guard.
Here we go.
Taktarov using an effective guard.
Keep it going.
Abbott's able to get a couple of shots in, but nothing that's going to take Taktarov out.
Let's get it working,
This is the position that Gracie made famous. Others now have copied, and what we've seen at the UFC now is that hybrid fighting style. As Jim alluded to earlier, the meshing of all these different disciplines, taking what seems effective here at the UFC, which is really what a combat battle is.
And John McCarthy is breaking up the fighters, and he will reset the two. Taktarov looks very, very winded.
Just restart here, restart.
Abbott looks better right now than Taktarov. And here they go again. Abbott lands a left hand.
Nothing yet here. Taktarov doesn't mind being up there against the fence. He doesn't mind at all. He can lift his knee, prevent the body shots. Can't really get hit in the head with a full leverage punch. Oh.
Tank got through again. There's a left hand by Tank. Taktarov looking for a choke.
Here's a choke again. This one could work.
Taktarov looking for the choke.
Does he have enough energy to keep it locked in?
Can he get it? McCarthy right in there on it. He's watching it closely.
Oh, he's standing up now. There's some good pressure. Oh, that's tight. Oh, that is tight. And he's rolling over just to get out of it.
Tank is tough.
Tremendous mettle showed by the Tank there.
But there's hardly anything left in his gas tank there. That choke must have really put the oxygen deprivation into effect. And you can see Taktarov trying to loop around the neck again. He's got both legs in. Abbott's got to keep his chin pinned to his chest.
Taktarov trying for a choke again. Now he gives it up. He's got the leg lock.
Great fight. Great fight. Oh, right there. He had a shot at the neck.
Look out. Taktarov going for the choke.
This could do it again. That's it.
Taktarov wins it at 17:47. What a finish. Exhaustion on the part of both fighters. They're going to both need oxygen. At this altitude, they're both going to need oxygen quickly.
Masterful performance. We saw the choke again, Jim.
Technique, tenacity, heart, unbelievable.
Two spent fighters. They both need the oxygen. At this altitude, exhaustion has set in. I don't expect an interview, Jeff, from you.
I don't know if they're capable, and I'll tell you what, again we see a rookie, a first-timer to the UFC, look so good,
Tank
and
is
yet
up.
somehow lose the fight.
Tank is up, and he was tremendous. Taktarov still being administered to, still being worked on.
If there wasn't a thing called fatigue, the Tank would win this one easily with the brutality that he portrayed.
If we were at a lower altitude, Jim, do you think Abbott would have performed better?
I think he would have.
Tank's got nothing to be ashamed of. He was tremendous.
Great performance.
Just tremendous.
He had Taktarov in a lot of trouble, but once again, learning the octagon, the ways of the octagon, and how to finish. That's the big key here. You got to be a finisher.
I like the technicians.
So Taktarov lost in UFC 5, comes back to win UFC 6.
And once again, the striker goes down against the submission holds.
He's getting the oxygen. We understand he's okay. He needs the oxygen at this altitude, over 5,000 feet. 5,000 feet. So much energy was expended in the finish, Jeff.
Oh, there's no doubt. And I wouldn't doubt that once Taktarov sunk that choke in, he made it a do-or-die situation for himself through everything he had, knowing I've got a real good hold here. Let's try and get it over with. And And I have no doubt in my mind that when he put that choke on, he let whatever calories he had left to burn, he put them to bear, and to his credit, he was able to submit.
Here's another look at it. This
is the stand-up. This is when they reset them. And that's right after Abbott hit him with a left hook. He tried to take him down, and when he left that head in the middle, the mistake of the wrestler, bang, there's that chokehold. Around the neck, lock the hands, and when Taktarov stands up straight and throws his chest out, that is when the pressure became the most fierce. This is at the start of the choke. They're going to come off the fence now. We'll see him come off the fence. Right here. And as soon as he arches his back, that's when it's a full lock choke, and he's running out of air.
Taktarov is up. As you take one more look at the choke, Taktarov is up in the middle of the ring. Referee John McCarthy raised his arm in victory. There's John McCarthy as the fight ended. And there's a look at Taktarov. He's gotten some oxygen. He looks woozy. They had to hold his arm up for the victory. What a performance. Guy Mezger, his good friend out there to help him. Michael Buffer in the ring right now. Let's go to Michael.
The official time at 17 minutes and 47 seconds of this match. The winner by submission, and now the winner of the Ultimate Fighting Championship number 6, the Russian Bear, Oleg Taktarov!
And what a bear he was. So UFC 6 is in the books, and the winners tonight, Oleg Taktarov in the main draw, and a brilliant Ken Shamrock in the super fight. So that is it from Casper, Wyoming. For Jim Brown, Jeff Blatnick, and Michael Buffer, I'm Bruce Beck. Thanks for joining us, and so long, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.